Hey everyone, welcome back to Grow Your Understanding. We're in the backyard here getting ready to go check out the garden, give everyone an update on that. Things have gotten a little bit hectic around here lately. I know the YouTube channel has kind of evolved into this farm animals, gardening, yard keeping, kind of basically just the general homesteading stuff around the yard here, and it's becoming a bit much for me to try and piece together all the different video clips and everything that I keep recording. So we're gonna split it into a couple of smaller series, so to speak. Maybe make the videos a little bit shorter just so that I'm spending less time at my computer editing, more time outside with the kids, and I can maintain putting out the content. So you might see the videos get a little bit shorter. We're gonna split it into two, possibly three series. Right now I'm kind of thinking what we'll do is one series will be the garden, this area here, the fruit trees, kind of the plant side of the channel. And then the other part will be the animals, which we have the chickens, the guinea fowl, and the kittens, or cats and kittens right now. We do plan on expanding that in the future, but that'll kind of be one part of it. And then we'll release update videos on those every Saturday as we have been. I don't know if we're going to be doing 2 videos a week on that or just the one and kind of alternating back and forth. I know one thing I've talked about in the past that we haven't started yet that I kind of want to make it its own series is like the pond build, and I know I keep alluding to it and hopefully we get to it this summer. But essentially back here we have our overgrown pond, and then back there we have what is, I don't know if you can see that here. I'll try and see if I can get a good view of the yard or of the land. We live on, sorry for the shakiness, we live on 80 acres out here. So we got the pond here, which is attached to our yard, and then if I lift you guys way up, we got essentially the rest of the property. And so what we're thinking of doing here is extending this out, digging this all down, putting some beach sand here so that you got a beach. Beach sand equals beach. And then heaping all that dirt in the back there for a sledding hill in winter. And then we would also like to make it deep enough, aerate it, so that I can put fish in there and create our own little fish habitat here. That's a big plan. That's ambitious. When I get to it, I think that'll be its own series. It's going to be a big project. It's going to be multiple episodes doing that. And when we get the equipment going, I'll start that. But for now, don't hold your breath just yet. I still have a lot of planning to do as far as equipment, costs, that kind of thing. Got to make sure that we can start and finish. But for now, this episode, we're going to start our first separation of the farm and garden. So we're going to start with an update on this. And it's going to be an update to the video where I started the Weedless garden. I'm going to provide an update on whether or not it's working. I think at first glance you can clearly tell it is. This is the weedless part. That strip back there is the part that we left the carpet off of, and I need to do a lot of weeding there. I got this guy here, which is not the right tool. I get it. We don't have a hoe. We're buying one today. Thanks everyone again for tuning in. Thanks for joining. If you're liking the series, liking the channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the like. If you want to get notifications for when we release a new video, turn on the bell. Starting on this end with the latest addition to the garden, we built this trellis in the last episode. If you didn't catch that, you will see a link pop up on the screen now. We put this trellis in, and then we also planted our peas in the ground here, and you can see 80% of the peas are coming through. I just got to make sure yet that the holes that are empty, that the peas did not sprout, and that they're not just trying to grow along the bottom there. But they're doing well. They're doing well, especially that guy right there. Anyway, you can see from here we made the hole so small you're not going to get a lot of weeds coming through, so that's nice. We do got one weed right there, a thistle trying to come through, but as soon as it does, you just pull them out. Moving around, we got some tomatoes planted in here that we didn't have room for in the planter box there. We have trimmed these back. They're doing well. You can see this one's trying to grow a new one at the bottom here. But yeah, this is the weed area that you got to weed essentially. So there you go. Weeds out. weeds out. So that's the amount of work you got with this system right here. The rest of it, you're not getting any weeds on. And the sun, you know, at first we were having issues a little bit with the plants getting shocked with the heat because of the black carpet. But now that they've adapted, they're doing super well. Our cucumbers they grow a few inches a day. They're just moving. So yeah, that's what you got to weed. We're gonna pinch off this guy right here because we do not need another tomato sucking the energy out of the rest of this. We can see that we got one tomato coming out there and a couple of small ones here. This plant here actually has quite a large one there. And these ones I'm letting grow flat on the ground to see how that does versus an upright plant like that. So yeah, so this is essentially the area you're weeding. Fun little fact here, these guys these guys here are an edible weed. I know they grow in zone 3 and probably throughout other zones as well. They taste like snap peas, so you just eat the whole thing, stem and all. And yeah, so tastes essentially just like peas. They grow a lot larger than this, but they'll grow in a lot of places where you have fresh mulched up dirt and stuff like that, and they're actually quite good. There's our pumpkin. Pumpkin's doing really well. Hasn't grown any sprouts yet, or any hasn't started growing any pumpkins yet. This guy, I honestly forget what it is. Moving on, our cucumbers are really starting to take off here. So we got that guy there doing quite well. Cucumbers just sprawling along the bottom here, and starting to really grow here. We already picked a couple of big ones off. Soon I'm gonna have to learn how to start canning. The watermelons are growing probably 6 inches a day right now. Really starting to sprawl out. I don't think we're gonna get any watermelons this year, if I'm being honest. Once again, almost no weeding area. Super simple, pull the weeds out, be done with it. Peppers, you can see one growing out there. They're really starting to grow. So this is good. They've recovered from the hail. They took a little bit of time to adapt to the new setting, but they're really doing well now. We haven't filled up the raspberry patch yet. All the planted strawberries that we put in these holes are not growing. I don't know if the seeds were garbage or if I didn't bury them deep enough, but they didn't do well. The strawberries we planted indoors are all doing quite well. No real strawberries yet though, so not sure what that's about. But and then here we got our blueberry bushes. They are putting out some blueberries, so that's good. And then we'll move over here to the area we got to weed. Those are the carrots. You can kind of see the row there. So now that we know where they are, they're established, we can weed around them. These are the beets, the red beets. It does look like I need to fertilize this area. I think these plants should be growing quicker. They're not growing too quick. And the radishes. The radishes seem to have some sort of pest eating through the leaves. So we'll have to see what we can do about that. So first things first, let's get those weeds under control in the garden patch where we didn't put the carpet. I'm in the garage here. I do use chemical weed killer for around the driveway and around the yard. And I plan to try and hold the weeds back in that area by basically creating a barrier with chemicals. So I got that down here on the ground. We got a bit of Roundup. I'm gonna mix a bit of a bottle, and then we'll apply that where we can without killing our garden. And then we'll have to hand weed a bunch of it too, because I didn't use the chemicals in spring when the weeds were fresh. So got the backpack sprayer on. Yes, for those that are paying attention to the smaller things, I did throw on a hat and change my shirt. This backpack sprayer leaks. I forgot about that, so I need to go put on a work shirt so that I don't ruin a good shirt. So anyway, you can see here around the yard, pretty much anywhere around a barrier, around the edge of the yard, we've been spraying to keep the weeds out of the yard. And we just want to kind of do that a bit more here as well in the weed area. You see, I've started weeding around the carrots. We're gonna have to do the same thing, hand weeding around the cucumber, or not the cucumbers, the radishes and beets. But I do want to spray the areas where we haven't planted anything yet, which is kind of just past the radishes here. This area here. So we're going to spray this area, and then we'll probably get a little bit of the ditch here, just push that back a bit further. I do want to actually spray this entire ditch out because it doesn't flow anymore, so I want to kill the weeds in there. All right, spraying's done. Let's get back to the weeding, the manual weeding, and then I'll give you guys an update either at the end of this video or the next video on how the weed killer worked and how things are looking around here with that. Gone and weeded the beets now. Yeah, I know there's still a bunch of grass in between them, but the beets are actually still too small for me to hand pull those. It'll pull the beet with it, so we got to let them get more established. Got the carrots, got the radishes. I'm just going to complete the radishes. I'm sure you guys are, I mean, this is super thrilling, I'm sure, but I'll complete that off camera, and yeah, we'll get it all cleaned up nicely. And since the start of this film, it's been about 3-4 days, things have changed around here. You can see here the cucumbers are much bigger than at the beginning of the film. Watermelons have really sprawled out, and you can start to see the bell peppers really coming out here. Hopefully I'm getting that on camera. Where am I? There you go. Everything's really taken off now, so we should start to see some good harvest soon. And then we're gonna start exploring preservation methods and all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, stay tuned everyone. I think for now though, I'm gonna call this one a wrap. Really appreciate everyone stopping by once again. Thank you all, and we'll catch you on the next one.